Support for Sportspage is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sportspage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics. Coming up next on the spring sports debut of the Central Missouri Sports Page, we'll visit with Jenny softball coach Susan Anderson about her team's solid start to the season despite some tough battles with Mother Nature. The UCM winter sports season included some amazing team and individual accomplishments, and we'll review the winter campaign with UCM Assistant Athletic Director for Media Relations Mike Knipper on this week's show. In our Sports Page Spotlights, we'll meet 2 UCM Indoor Track and Field National Champions from Jefferson City, and we'll preview the 10th straight NCAA National Championship appearance for Jenny's Bowling. So stay tuned. The spring sports season debut of Sports Page is next. Well, Jenny softball has put together a solid start to the 2013 season. The opponent they've had the most trouble with so far is Mother Nature. Joining us now to talk Jenny softball is UCM Athletic Hall of Famer and head coach Susan Anderson. Coach Anderson, welcome back.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Well, a lot of people may not know this. Before you came to Central, and before Central it was Northwest Missouri, a little further north, and before that it was Dakota State, so a little further north. So with that being said, I guess unfortunately you've had to deal with cold weather in the past, but boy, it's been something so far.
I was going to say, it's been ridiculous dealing with the weather. I feel like I am back in South Dakota, because when I was in South Dakota that first year, the snow, it covered the ground until April 8th. That was the first time we could actually get out on our home field. So hopefully we don't have that situation. March, 28th? Yeah. That's far enough.
Well, we've lost 14 games due to the snow, and your student athletes, they work their whole careers for this opportunity. How are they handling it right now?
I think this spring's really been the toughest, but as a spring sport, we always have to be so flexible as, okay, we're going to be practicing indoors. Nope, we can go outside today. So I think as all of our athletes, they're used to that flexibility, but this one has been quite the damper with having the winter, and especially the snow coming on this last one at the end of March. I'm having to call Coach Sabota to be like, hey, I know spring football practice isn't starting, but when are you going to be out there? Can we get out there on the turf? So and it's been crazy.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's great about Central Missouri. I always tell people this. We have a coaching staff that's really a team. And you know, baseball, Jim Crane donated that nice hitting facility a few years ago, and Tommy Myers and you have a great relationship. He lets you go over hitting that. You've got the football field. Coach Sabota lets you come over and hit on that. I think everybody at this level realizes we have to work together to be successful, and that's certainly the mindset here.
I was going to say, we've got great coaches here, and that's one thing that I love about being here is because you can give them a call, and everybody's willing to work with each other just to help everybody and support each other.
And obviously, we're not the only school that's had to deal with this. It's really, for the most part, all of the MIAA, maybe the exception of the schools in Oklahoma. How do you think this is going to affect the conference race and regional implications with, you know, teams having anywhere from 12 to 15, 16 games wiped out so far?
I think what you'll probably see is just nobody has really been able to get in a rhythm. Like whenever we were outside, it was like we finally got in that rhythm and we were playing really well. And the next thing you know, bam, you're not able to play for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then you're stuck going back inside. And then there's only so much that you can do inside to keep preparing and trying to keep their focus and that type of stuff. So everybody's been dealing with it. So I think early on, where you're seeing some of these teams beat each other, sooner or later we're probably going to get more in that rhythm. You're going to see more consistency from teams, but right now it's just so hard to get in that rhythm that just keep on playing and just get on a roll.
Well, you've had long stretches without games, but, you know, as I look at it and I look at the stats, the team really appears to have handled that pretty well. They're 14-8. They play good teams. They've come off those long stretches, won a game or two in a row, so they look to be a pretty tough group, a group that's ready when they get the chance to play.
This group is, I'm so excited about this group because they're a very fun group, highly competitive. I mean, if you put a challenge in front of them, then everybody's willing to step up and to try to do that. And like you said, anytime that we've been able to get on the field, they're so excited to be out there, and they work so well together, and we've been very fortunate in regards to that.
That is not Susan Anderson coaching the offense or the defense, so out there with the goalpost behind you. But I think that is a great shot to simplify what we've dealt with here, and all of our viewers know it here in the Show Me Stakes. You've got the snow there on the side, and hey, that's a pretty good job of just using the resources you had. Got a little makeshift diamond there.
I was going to say, like I said, I called Coach Devoto. We needed to get outside. We hadn't been outside for over a week, and it was just, we need to do that before we go down to Oklahoma to try to play conference games again. It was just nice to be outside, even though the temperatures weren't that great, but it's doable.
I'm impressed with the toughness of Sarah Espy, one of your senior pitchers. No sleeves right there.
That's just crazy. I made that comment earlier when I was out there. I was just like, unbelievable that she's out there without sleeves on. Even though she's pitching, you can't be that warm when it's that cold outside.
And in defense of Sarah, that's one of our smartest student athletes. That's the president of SAC, our Student Athlete Council. So, well, you know, this has been a pretty good season when you look at the record. 14-8, you're up to a 4-2 start in the league, and you look at your lineup. 4 players right now hitting .338 or better. So you have got some pretty good hitting right now.
I was going to say our lineup has been doing a really good job of being productive, especially the top of our order. Our leadoff hitter, Medora West, she's a junior, and then our 2-hole hitter, Braylon Bivens, another junior. Both of them have been doing a fantastic job of getting on base for us consistently, and then that helps the middle of our lineup in regards to like Jackie Prater, who's our sophomore, Alex Greger, who's a junior, Ashley Bigston, senior, that middle group coming through with big hits to get the RBIs. And then as of late, the bottom of our lineup's really been doing a much better job of finding ways on. So we've got to keep being productive and getting on base because we've got the speed to be aggressive.
I would rather be watching you out at Jenny Field. I love this. This is something. I mean, you know, this is taking advantage of the resources you have and just making it work. The resourcefulness we often brag about in Division II. And so getting some work in. And you mentioned Jackie a minute ago. I don't go back to her. Sophomore from Nixa. She's hitting .358, 23 runs driven in. She's also 7-1 in the circle with a 1.99 ERA. Did you have any idea a couple years ago when you signed her that you would get this type of production all the way around?
To be quite honest, we knew this kid was good. We were just kind of waiting for it. Last year, we weren't able to use her in the pitching circle as much as we wanted to because of injuries, and we had a smaller group. This year, we knew that we would have her in the circle a lot more, and she's totally been getting the job done. She's been by far our most consistent pitcher, and then also getting the job done on the offensive side. You can't beat having Jackie Prater. I love that kid.
Well, you look too, and you know, I mentioned Jackie's a sophomore. You actually have 3 sophomores right now in the circle that are really pitching well. That's got to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I should say all we need, if we keep getting the good pitching performances, I feel like we can hang with anybody. It's just whenever we've gotten those poor pitching performances where we've kind of stubbed our toe, walked a few too many people, then that's when we kind of put ourselves in a jam and we have to dig ourselves out of that hole. But whenever we get the good pitching performances, like I said, I feel like we can play with anybody.
Braylon Bivens, she's out of Kansas City Staley. Boy, what an athletic powerhouse that school has already turned out to be. And she stepped in, junior, hitting .411, but then 15 of 17 in stolen bases. And this is not exactly stolen base weather we're playing in right now.
And I just say with losing what was it? You said 14 games that we've already lost. You just think, man, if we could have had those games, how many stolen bases could she have currently? But yeah, Bray, she's our rock on the infield. She's the one junior that we do have on the infield. She's made a great transition from shortstop to second base. She's the anchor of our infield because honestly, when we've got Jackie in the circle, we pretty much have all freshmen except for Bray at second base, a junior. Everybody else is freshmen or sophomores.
Yeah, you only have 3 seniors on this entire team. We saw one of them a little bit ago in Sarah Espy, who's one of your leaders on this team. Another certainly is Ashley Bigston. She's from Wichita. She's a senior, and you are expecting good things from her, and she is delivering. She's been 2-time All MIAA, and she's hitting .373 right now.
Mm-hmm. She's been doing a great job for us. Probably one of the best center fielders that we've ever had come through this central program, as well as MIAA. I mean, this kid, whenever the ball's hit, It doesn't matter. You just, like I told our girls one time when she made a diving catch, a couple of our girls got a little bit excited. And it's like, we can't just keep getting used to her making those catches because she makes it all the time. Like there's hardly ever where a ball drops in with Ashley out in center field.
And you tell me, but I look at Medora West. She's a junior from out of Webster Groves in St. Louis, but she's a senior because she's going to graduate. She's got a great job opportunity lined up, and that's what we're all about. So that's tremendous for her. She has really improved her game from last year to this year. On one hand, I know you'd love to have her one more because she's hitting .338 and has 27 hits, second on the team. But talk about how she stepped her game up in her final year.
This kid, I wish I could make a ton of them just like her. Like you said, she's going to be graduating in 3 years. 4.0 student, probably one of those kids that if you put a challenge in front of her, nothing's going to keep her from finishing that challenge. And she really has stepped up her game. Last year she did really well for us, but then she came away with an injury, and that kind of set her back for a little bit. So knock on wood, she stays healthy and we can keep her going because, yeah, that kid, she just brings so much to our program, so much energy, so much positive, just that energy that you just want to like just put it together and just bottle it up and carry it on to other people after she leaves.
Well, it looks like this weekend the enthusiasm should bubble over because I think your kids are going to get to play. You're going to Oklahoma. You're going to play two very good teams. Now, it's an interesting situation. There we have the Friday action. You're in Tahlequah to take on Northeastern State, 1 o'clock doubleheader. Talk about, in your mind, the big keys to success in that doubleheader against the Riverhawks.
Biggest thing is pitching. Like I said earlier, if we get the good pitching performances, then I feel like we can be all right. And then since we haven't seen live pitching for a week and a half, I just hope our hitters come in focused and have quality at bats because we're going to need people to get on base. And like I said, once we get people on base, we have lots of people that can steal bases where we can be aggressive and try to score runs. And then defense, because I mean we haven't been on the dirt infield for over a week and a half or close to that. So it's just one of those like just getting dust the cobwebs out of your gloves and get ready from the very first pitch as soon as you step on the field. And
no disrespect at all to Northeastern State, they've got a nice program, but I'm glad you're playing them Friday because Saturday you've got a challenge of one of the best programs in the country in Central Oklahoma in Edmond. They've obviously been outside a lot more, but hey, your team's been playing really well when they've had the chance to play. So it is a big challenge, but as I like to say, it's also a big opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is good starting out with Northeastern, but nothing to take away from them because they just split with Fort Hays, who's right now leading our conference at 5-1. And then Central Oklahoma right now, they're ranked number 9th in the nation, and they're 5-1 in the conference as well. But I also look at like the teams that are in the top 25, like we've got Central Oak, Hayes, and then Missouri Western just popped into the top 25. We swept them the first 2 conference games. So, like I said before, I feel like if we can just keep putting everything together, and especially our pitching performances, we should be able to play with the best of them.
Yeah, you know, we're already going to be in April next week, and we haven't played a lot of games, but we're starting to head down the stretch, and it's just the reality of this year. Good news, bad news. You're right in the thick of the race for the MIAA. That's the good news. Bad news, there's about 8 teams that are in the thick of that race right now. So that makes every game, especially with 14 of them knocked off the schedule, very important.
It makes it really important. And we've really stressed that with our girls that every conference game you have to be ready to go from the very first pitch and be focused. And you can't take any team lightly, and it's not about whose opponent's name is across the jersey. Let's just go out and play our game. And if we can beat teams by a lot, let's beat teams by a lot. Just play our game and not worry about who we're playing.
So the team heads to Oklahoma this weekend. You do not. Congratulations to you and Chauncey. Coach Anderson is expecting and doctor's orders, so you'll stay here. Now, you know, when you build a program, you recruit the kids you want. You teach them every day in practice, in the off season, and then the games are supposed to be the fun part anyway. So is this going to be really hard on you, or do you feel good that you can just kind of let them go and play the game?
It's going to be tough, not going to lie, because it's one of the first times that I've never been there.
Right.
And it's going to be different seeing the girls get on the bus and then me not following them, getting on the bus with them. But I'm so confident in my coaching staff and in this group of players. They're so focused, and all of my assistants, I've been here for 2 years, and they've also either played underneath me or they've been with me for 2 years. And we actually made that transition starting this fall. I had Jana start coaching third base because I knew that there was no way I was going to be out there at third base with all the line drives that start heading down that way foul ball-wise. So Jana coached third and Sarah Johnson coached first the whole fall. So that way there's not going to be a skip of any beat. It's just one of those, it's a smooth transition. It's just that I'm not going to be there, but everything else is the same as what we did all fall and starting in the spring, so nothing will be different.
Well, happy for you and Chauncey and Tegan,
Thank you.
and your new little one, Tegan's sibling to be, is going to feel that emotion. I have a feeling this weekend when you're watching live stats and webcasts and all that.
Yeah, we're super.
Mom, what's going on out there?
Yeah, we're super excited about this new little girl coming, and yes, I'm going to be right there glued to the computer screen watching live stats.
You're starting to maybe set up a future Jenny softball infield for us. We've already got one, we'll now have two. So, again, congratulations to you. And then I know you'll be excited because next Tuesday, Emporia State comes to town. That's a great rivalry. They're a great program. They're 4-2 in the league. And finally, a chance to play at home. Let's hope.
Yeah,
not 4 o'clock doubleheader, so a chance for folks maybe to get off work, come out and watch the team. And certainly, anytime you play Emporia State, I think maybe you hope not. You want the kids to be ready to play every game, but there's just something about it. When they see that name, they know they've got to play well, and they're excited for it.
There is a big rivalry between us and Emporia, and I think that goes for a lot of the sports here. So it'll be exciting to just get back on our home field, and that's the great thing about April is that we do have a lot of home games. So hopefully the weather cooperates where people can come out and see us. It's a great group.
It is, and we should mention that. I mean, your team traditionally wins academic awards year after year. These are great young ladies, super smart in the classroom, and I know they work hard for you too.
Yeah, they work extremely hard. They know why they're here, and then they know that softball's a bonus, but they don't take any strides off. It's all about getting the job done on both sides.
I mean, you've had some team GPAs that are up over 3.7, 3.8. That's incredible.
Yeah, I was going to say, a couple of years ago, we had the #1 team GPA in the nation, so really proud, very proud of this group.
I mean, you were a great student athlete. You're an academic All-American, and you're in the Hall of Fame, but is it hard to coach that many smart girls that when you say something, they might actually, be smart enough to go, are you sure about that, Coach?
No, it's always good to have the smart one.
Yeah.
Always good.
As opposed to the other,
yeah.
If they understand, right, what you want when you want it. Congratulations. We'll have you on again soon. We'll keep folks up to date. I almost kind of want to be with you and your family this weekend and watch these games from Oklahoma. But then again, I don't.
It'll be different.
Well, good luck to the team.
Thanks, Jonesy.
Coming up next here on Sportspage, we're going to get to know two UCM track and field multi-event student athletes from Jefferson City who recently captured NCAA Division II Indoor Track and Field National Championships. You'll want to stay tuned for that right here on KMOS TV.
And now a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Call the Midwife.
A lot of the issues that we explore in Season 2 are facets of storylines or subject matter that Jennifer touched on in her original book. For instance, the handicapped child that we show in one of the episodes. That was something that I think as a team we all felt was very important to shine a spotlight on.
What's wrong? Sister Evangelina, what's wrong with him? You tell me what's going on right now.
I was shocked to find out that the merciful thing to do is to sometimes allow the baby to die. And that was a policy that even the nuns followed.
Back then, the humane course of treatment was considered to be chromal hydrate. Let the child pass peacefully.
No. Now we would just never allow that. And so modern attitudes and sensibilities have changed so much. I think it's really healthy for us all to remember how different things were so recently and how much distance we've moved in the last 50, 60 years.
To me, it just seems so true, and it's something that Call the Midwife does really well. They tackle these issues without being preachy, without saying this is the right way or this is the wrong way. It's just a very difficult subject matter. He's my baby boy. He's a parent to send him away. They should realise how lucky we are now, how attitudes have changed.
Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And welcome back to Sportspage here on KMOS TV, Missouri PBS. In this Sportspage Spotlight, we'll get to know two 2013 NCAA Division II indoor track and field national champions from UCM, who both hail from Jefferson City, Aaron Aliewine and Brent Vogel.
Kind of preparation that goes into national championship meet. It starts from the very beginning all the way from August. We train outdoor on the hills. We're out here on the grass track. We're in here. We're doing all the different multi-events. We do about 2 different multi-events a day, and then we do a running workout every single day with a recovery workout on Wednesday. And we just get all that in week after week, all the way up till now. Until it's time to recover. We get about a week or 2 recovery, and we just put it all on the line.
Preparation that we went in to become the champion or to get to nationals, we actually train all fall. We don't really get a stopping point, but championships in general. First meet was December, so that was, my kind of coming out, being the oldest one on the team now. And then recently, or after that, I was injured. So I actually sat for 5 weeks in the middle between that and nationals. So my first really preparation was conference. That's the first time I stepped out on the track the entire season. So kind of nerve-wracking and that kind of thing. Normal training, so things that my teammates would have been doing is repetitions, 600 repeats, preparing for the 800, high jump, long jump, shot put, stuff like that, and I got to watch. So I did a lot more mental preparation than anything. Watching videos, just basically looking at YouTube videos, seeing what I could do, seeing what I should do, and that kind of thing. So training-wise, I think I got about a week before. I started doing really short workouts, strides, and that kind of thing, and tried to get ready.
The experience in Birmingham was probably the best experience I've ever had at a track meet. It was the best facility I've ever been at. The lighting was amazing, and not only that, being a part of Central Missouri, we had the best crowd of any school there. We had the best representation. We even had, there was such a good representation, NCAA even tweeted about UCM at the meet. We had about 20 of our teammates come up and road trip all the way through the night to cheer us on and support us. So that was a wonderful experience, because you usually don't get something like that at a national meet.
We stayed at the Sheraton. It was a downtown Birmingham hotel. It had like 16 floors, all at the athletes. It was a host hotel, so there was swimming and diving, there were wrestling, track and field, and all those athletes stayed in this hotel and a couple others. So then they bused us all to the competition area, and it was a rising track, so it had all of the sprints and hurdles and that kind of thing was down the middle of the track, and the track was actually banked, so they could, obviously hydraulics brought it up and down, so that was really cool. I'd never run on that before. High jump pits were awesome, and it was just a great experience. Training with Champ is always great. He always pushes us, he runs with us, he is great encouragement.
You can see all the different things we do wrong in our field events and critique us to the T, but he doesn't do it too much at a time. He knows how to, break it down piece by piece, and over the course of the years, we get better and better. And it's just, first, you just got to kind of believe in the program. That's what he tells us every day. You got to believe in the program.
Always there for motivation, always knows how to push my buttons just right to make me do the right things, and I believe so much in what he does. So.
My goals when I first came here as a freshman, I'm in a pre-med, pre-chiropractic. I'm a biology major. So I wanted to prepare myself for chiropractic school, and that's still a goal of mine in the future. But as of now, I want to stay here and train. Every single year as I got a little bit better in track, and I've enjoyed it more and more, I'm to the point now where I want to stay here and train with Kip and post-collegiately, get a job, and just see how far I can take it. And From there, then eventually I'll decide if I want to keep doing track or just go to chiropractic school instead. Those are my goals.
My major is dietetics and nutrition, and I also have a minor in fitness and wellness and a minor in food, which goes along with my dietetics degree. I think overall, after I'm done, I will probably coach for a while. I want to do the grad assistantship at a school or even here, and then coach for a couple years, and then potentially have my own cafe, bakery, grocery store, local foods, and that kind of thing.
Ailey Wine is a junior from Jefferson City High School, and her pentathlon national title was the first of her outstanding UCM career. Vogel is a senior and a Jeff City Helias product who claimed the national championship in the heptathlon this winter with an NCAA Division II record, 5,760 points. It's the second national title for Vogel, who claimed the decathlon national crown at Outdoor Nationals in 2011. UCM is certainly proud of these outstanding student athletes, and I know all of you watching tonight in Jefferson City are also very proud of these two capital city national champs. Coming up next on Sportspage, we'll take a look back at how Central Missouri spring sports teams performed this past week, and we'll wrap up a successful winter sports season with UCM Assistant Athletic Director for Media Relations, Mike Knipper. All that's on the way when Sportspage continues right after this.
I grew up in Harlem during the Depression, but I was extremely fortunate to have an opportunity to go to college, tuition free. When I retired, I thought if I can even help one person go to college, I would have done something really great. So I support one student with a scholarship. I see the values of PBS in sync with my values. And just the way I want to pass on a legacy of education, I would like to pass PBS on to the next generation. That's why I included my PBS station in my state value. I like to think that PBS is concerned with our soul. If your soul is in the right place, you're giving back.
Load up your golf clubs, grab your spikes, and head out to the first tee. As our way of saying thank you for your financial contribution at the $50 level or higher, KMOS will send you a member card. In addition to great discounts at restaurants, attractions, and bed and breakfast all across Missouri, the member card also offers 2-for-1 greens fees at several Missouri golf courses. Improve your swing while taking in beautiful lake vistas, or experience the Rumble at America's only golf course above an active mine. Take your game to the next level by playing around on us. Call 1-800-753-3436 and support KMOS TV, Missouri PBS. Thank you.
And once again, thanks for watching Sportspage here on KMOS TV. Coming up in just a moment, we'll have our Winter Sports Rewind with Assistant AD for Media Relations, Mike Knipper. But first, let's take a look at how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And it's been tough to get in games with Mother Nature putting a lot of snow on the ground here in Missouri, but a couple of our teams were able to travel south, one a long way, one not so far to get in games as competition. The 5th-ranked Mules baseball team earned a walk-off win in Game 1 yesterday at Southwest Baptist in Bolivar as Kyle Grieshaber hit a home to the left in the 8th inning of a scheduled 7-inning contest to give the Mules a 3-2 win over the Bearcats again down in Bolivar, originally scheduled for here in Warrensburg. In Game 2 yesterday, the Mules and Bearcats went into extra innings once again, and the Mules suffered an 8-6 setback in 13 innings. They kept coming back from down 3, scoring 3 runs, couldn't quite get over the hump and fell to split the series. The 5th-ranked Mules are now 18-4 overall. They are 15-3 in the MIAA. The Mules golf team, they were in Alabama earlier this week. They finished in 10th place against an excellent field at the North Alabama Invitational in Muscle Shoals, Alabama earlier this week. Sophomore Cy Moritz from Owensville was the Mules' top finisher in 20th place. He fired a 78-75 on a tough track in cold and windy conditions. Since our last show, UCM's winter sports teams have all wrapped up outstanding seasons. A few moments ago, you saw a couple of national champs in track and field. Joining us to kind of encapsulate what happened this winter and tell you about the accomplishments is our Assistant Athletic Director for Media Relations here at UCM, Mike Knipper. Mike, welcome to Sportspage.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
Well, first of all, some of the folks out there may be going, what is a media relations guy? What is an assistant AD for media relations? So what do you do for UCM Athletics?
Well, what we do in the media relations department at UCM is our main goal is to promote the teams and the student athletes that compete for us here. We staff every home athletic event doing statistics. You know, a lot of the tweets that are sent out about results or just in-game tweets come from our office. We write press releases, game stories that show up on the website. We also produce all of the media guides, game programs, and any game notes that go out about each sport.
It's certainly more of a way of life than it is a job, I know, and you have to have a lot of passion for it. And one of the things you launched when you got here that kind of was your baby, so to speak, your legacy, was the fact that you redid our website. You relaunched it as UCMathletics.com. I know that took a lot of work. We're proud of UCMathletics.com. For the folks out there who haven't been on it, talk about some of the features and what they'll see there.
One of the things that we love about the new website is first of all, the look that you had a hand in as well. Just the overall look of the site and I guess the way it kind of flashes to the viewer when they're on the page. But it's got everything that you could need to know about UCM Athletics. It's got schedules for all of our sports. It's got composite schedules if you want to go on and say, hey, I'm going to be in town this weekend, what's going on? You can check out every sport that's happening that weekend. It's got rosters for each team. Each team has their own page where we post not only game stories and game notes, but any YouTube interviews that we do with head coaches or athletes, those will get posted to their page. And then all the statistics from the season and results, and that all goes on each team's page and then also onto the main page as well. And we also have photo galleries. So it's one of the new things that we have this year that we really like is we get all these great photos from University Relations who comes and takes photos for us at games, and now we have a place to display those. We put photo galleries on the website as well.
And you also help to coordinate interviews and things for this show. These guys do a lot, and it's really you and two GAs. And we've had great GAs. The bad news is we've got two GAs that are in their second year and finishing their master's degrees, and we've got some big shoes to fill. Those guys have done a great job.
Yeah, they really have. Ryan Anderson and Greg Gorham, they were here when I got here last year, and they've really done an outstanding job. You know, they came in, they worked hard from the get-go, they learned quick, and to the point where I could kind of set them free. You know, we've had a lot of weekends and a lot of days here at UCM where we have multiple events going on, and so we have to send different people out to different sporting events, and we're kind of small staffed in that feature, but those guys have done a great job, and like you said, we have some big shoes to fill and some big interviews coming up here this spring to try and replace two guys who have done an outstanding job and worked a lot of hours for us.
By the way, if you've got undergrad experience in sports info, those positions are currently on ncaa.org in employment, so check it out. It's been a great winter. One of the things we love about being at Central Missouri is we win really across the board with great kids and great coaches, and that's a credit to our boss, Jerry Hughes. He's created a culture of winning and expectation and provided the tools you need to have success. And boy, this winter was no exception. I mean, you can name highlights from every sport.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that brought me back to UCM. You know, I started here as a graduate assistant, left for a couple of years, and one of the things that drew me back here was just the overall success of the athletic department as a whole. And it's, you know, I tell people who don't know a lot about Central Missouri that, you know, what's your best sport? And I have to say, well, kind of all of them. You know, every sport wins here, and it makes my job easy, and it's fun to cover teams that are always winning and always going to the postseason, and this winter was no different.
You know, you mentioned that, though. It's really harder to win. You have a lot more work when we win, but if you're in this business for the right reasons, you wouldn't trade that for the world.
No, I wouldn't, and, you know, we joke. Sometimes SIDs, you know, I joke with other SIDs from other schools, and we joke about how, oh, if this team were to lose, you know, our season would be over, but I'd have a lot less work to do. And we joke about that, but winning and following these teams when they win, they make the job a lot easier, even though it is more work, but it's a lot of fun to follow these kids and these teams as they go into the postseason and win as much as the teams here at UCM do.
And you get to know them, you get to know the coaches, their families, you become part of the family. Basically, it's like you're part of 17 different programs and a vital part of it. Let's start and kind of talk about some of the teams and some of their successes this winter. I know the folks here at KMOS have kind of put together some highlights to put over the screen as we're talking about some of the great accomplishments. And Let's start with Mules basketball. Coach A, I mean, here's the MIAA championship game. Mules won it in overtime, and this is a group that won the league last year. They've won 3 of the last 4. They were left out of the NCAA last year. 8 seniors. Man, they had a great run this year.
You know, they really did, and you know, I know they kind of had a chip on their shoulder coming into this year because they tied for the conference championship last year, but were left out of the NCAA tournament. So they felt like they had something to prove this year. Just a great year, and they really turned it on at the end of the season to win the regular season co-championship, and then what a great run in Kansas City as we're seeing the end of the game here, and just a great run those 3 days in Kansas City. Played some good basketball, and this game in particular.
When you see Dominique Long right there, he was all region, all MIAA, and enjoying a moment. We just saw Widget kind of run off the floor a moment ago. Kansas City native. He was the MVP of the MIAA tournament there at Municipal in KC. 122, there's Coach A, 5th MIAA title, 4th MIAA tournament title right here. 6th NCAA tournament. They had a great year. It was fun.
They really did have a great year, and it was a fun team to follow.
And then how about the Jennies? Dave Slifer and Josh Keister and Tammy Slifer and Erica Ferguson, the staff, they basically had to replace a lot of players, and they brought in a whole new group, minus really Nicole Cadell, Kirsten Orton, a couple others, Brielle Watley that were here, and Aaron Redmond, but they brought in a group of winners. Tiana Flack's one of them. Kids from winning programs, and they were fun to watch because they played like winners all year.
It was a great group to watch, and you know, we didn't really know what to expect coming into this year. They had to replace 4 starters. They had some good kids coming back from last year, like you said, but you know, you didn't really know what you were going to get. You knew all these kids coming in were from successful programs, but until you get them out on the court and they play together, you really don't know what you're going to get. And just a fun group to watch all season long.
We see 21 there a minute ago, Tiana Flack. There she is, top of the team. All-American this year, all-league first team. Only played half the year. Sky's the limit for her next year. I can't wait to watch her as a senior.
It really is. She might be one of the most talented basketball players I've ever had the pleasure of watching. And you know, there's a shot of Nicole right there, and able to come back, get an extra year of eligibility, and you know, Nicole still had a great year, but it was almost like she was overshadowed by her teammate because of how good Kiana played this year.
And there's Kiana. She'll be back. Quinicia Twine's back right there. Brianna Lewis, who's one of the most explosive scorers we've ever seen. She's back. And Shelby Winkleman scored 42 against Emporia early this year, got hurt, and was out for the year. She's back next year. Big shoes to fill with Cadell and Aaron Redmond right there in that shot. But, boy, I think Dave Slifer, the regional coach of the year, he just won that award. Congratulations, Coach Slifer. They're loaded for next year.
They really are. They got a lot coming back next year, and I'm sure the expectations will be, you know, really high for the program. But with the talent they have and the talent that they're going to bring in, it should be another exciting season.
Yeah, both staffs right now really working on recruiting on the basketball side. The Mules have 8 seniors to replace. They've already signed a couple, feel good about where they're at. The Jennies don't have as many faces to replace, so they've got to be, you know, really honed in on what they need and what they want, because they're not going to have a lot of scholarship room, a lot of room on the team with all the players coming back. And as you see these players coming back making shots, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing, and it'll be exciting to see who they bring in, because they can only bring in a few players, but to add to that already talented mix.
Here's the little known fact for the 800,000 households we bring this show to in Missouri. You were a college wrestler at Luther College in Iowa. You've had a chance to closely watch Justin Ensign build this Mules wrestling program. You know the sport well. I thought this was a big year for Mules wrestling. Back in the MIAA for the first time as a conference sport since 1983. Eric Mateo made it to nationals. Brought in some new kids that really had a hunger for winning, and I think wrestling's on the way up here.
I think they are too. You know, Justin's assembled a good coaching staff, a lot of guys who are very talented in their own right as wrestlers, and they've been able to bring in some good kids who, you know, they didn't end the way they wanted to with Eric not becoming an All-American at Nationals, but they've built that base that they've been looking for, and I think it'll only go up from here.
Hey, they've had a tough situation too, kind of had to have been a nomadic program moving around to find space to compete. And I know there's a big push on Jason Drummond, our VP, and Jerry Hughes, our AD, and Dr. Ambrose working to try to get the funding together for a wrestling room for the program. And I think once they get that wrestling room and they have a place to show recruits and to put all of our student athletes combined with our school to recruit to, and we're talking about a tough league now. Kearney's won, a couple national championships in a row, UNK, and then UCO's in our league now. They've won multiple national championships. I really think once we get that facility, Justin's going to have a chance to build a nationally recognized program here.
Yeah, he really will. You know, getting a wrestling room is big because it's a place that kids can call their own. You know, they know where they're going to practice every day. They don't have to worry about coming in and rolling up the mats every single day. But like you said, it doesn't get easy because this conference, now that we're actually back in the MIAA for wrestling, you add Nebraska Kearney and Central Oklahoma. Kearney's won the last 2 national championships, and I don't know off the top of my head, I think Central Oklahoma's won somewhere around 6 or 10 national championships of their own. And then you add in schools like Hayes, who's always tough, and Lindenwood joining the league, who Lindenwood was a great NAIA program. You know, you got to get better in a hurry, because if not, you're going to take some lumps.
And let's talk about track and field, the indoor season. We just, obviously got to spend a lot of time with Brent Vogel and Aaron Aliewine from Jeff City as the national champs in the multi-events. But, we had, I think, 6, 7 All-American performances, 11 kids qualify for nationals indoor, 6th straight MIAA indoor title for the Mules. And this league's gotten tougher in track and field, too. Kip and Kirk really do a great job with that program.
They really do an outstanding job. And, this was my first conference track meet to be able to work this year, because the school I was at previously didn't have track. And so just to see it come down to the final few races on that Sunday afternoon, the conference meet was it was exciting. And with the new video board we have in the multi, it was great, because there was a race near the end that a guy for the Mules came from behind to win, and everyone was sitting there patiently waiting to see the results come up on the video board. And when it flashed up that Central Missouri runner had come back and won the race, and it was big for the team standings, the whole arena just erupted. And they do an outstanding job, not only with the Mules, but also the Jennies, always near the top of the league. And like you said, just great performances at nationals. And it seems like each year we graduate kids who, it's how are you going to be able to replace this? Well, then you just bring up the kids who are freshmen and sophomores who are developing. And we have a guy like Mila Simpson who goes out and I think gets 2 or 3 All-American awards as a freshman at his first national championship.
Yeah, there's always kids stepping in and stepping up, and that's great coaching. Kip and Kirk, Tucker, who works with them, and then they always have great GAs. Those 3 guys I mentioned first, Kip, Kirk, and Tucker, they could coach anywhere. But they love it here. They love this program. They've invested themselves in it. And what I like, and I think what our viewers probably like, they take kids from the Midwest, from Missouri. They take kids from Jeff City High and Elias High, who were really good high school athletes, but then overshadowed, didn't get the D1 opportunities, and make them national champs in Division II, which is incredible, and a testament to our coaches. You mentioned the video boards. We've got the new video board at the football stadium. We've got a new video board at the multi. We really utilized those. Your staff had a lot of input and a lot of work with that. Tim Pinkston, Bob Jackson from our staff, too. Those have changed the culture. We went from having the oldest technology maybe in the league to the newest, and those battles. But the LED tables, the video boards, things like instant results for track and field, to me, when I'm watching that, that's high major D1 stuff. The intro videos for basketball and the shots of the wrestlers while they're wrestling, the replays from the UCM Media Network, really added to our environment for a whole bunch of sports.
They really did, and it not only for the fans, it's something for them to see during the games, but one of the coolest things was when we were playing those basketball intro videos or the football intro video before a football game, to see the student athletes sitting there and watching the video, seeing the smile on their faces when their picture flashes up on the board. We had some headaches with them throughout the year, and it's a learning process. It's new to all of us. But I think that as we get more comfortable with them and the more we're able to do, it's just going to make the fan experience and the student athlete experience that much more enjoyable.
The thing about our jobs, and yours is right in the middle of this, you evolve, adapt, or die. I mean, think about all the things that we've changed in the last 5 years, from video boards to the .com website to Twitter to Facebook to now, Instagram and all these different things. I mean, all the things that we have available now, we almost didn't have 5 years ago. And you've got to continue to stay on that cutting edge, don't you?
It's a constantly changing world, and at the previous school I was at, we fought the Twitter. We did not want to join Twitter because we're like, this is just one more thing that we're not really sure how this is going to catch on. It's more work. We don't really want to do it. And now it's like it's second nature to us. It's just something, oh, hey, after the game's over or in the middle of a game, sending out, Twitter updates in the middle of a game or results at the end. And, oh, hey, don't forget to send out a tweet. It's become so second nature that you don't even think about it, when back in the beginning it was just one more thing.
Well, now we're on to spring sports, and we don't have a lot of time left, but Mother Nature's been the toughest opponent, but baseball and softball are off to great starts. Bowling, we're going to get a big preview of their NCAA championship in a moment, and they're the #1 seed. Track and field's opening the outdoor portion of their schedule. Golf is underway. The Mules are leading the MIAA. Again, the greatest thing about being at Central Missouri is we had a great winter, and we get to cover a great spring now, too.
Yeah, the winter sports are over now, but you move right into the spring sports. And like you said, they're all off to great starts. You know, golf starting in the fall, obviously, but the spring sports starting up. If we can get Mother Nature to cooperate here a little bit, maybe we'll get some home games. It's been tough. We've played a lot of road games this year, had to kind of go wherever we can go to find games, but they're off to good starts. Like, you know, we're spoiled a little bit, but it's as we expect. You expect them to get off to good starts and have good seasons.
This guy was not wearing a suit yesterday. You were outside for, what, about 10 hours in Bolivar yesterday covering baseball without a press box? Because that was our home game?
Yes, it was our home game at Bolivar. I think we got there about 10 a.m. for batting practice. I had 2 sets of gloves on, stocking hat, hooded sweatshirt, jacket, and now I'm inside and it's nice and warm.
Yeah. Well, you do a great job, and thanks for stopping by, Mike.
Thank you.
In just a moment here on the Central Missouri Sports Page, we'll preview the upcoming NCAA Women's Bowling National Championships from the moment the Jennies learned they were the #1 seed in the NCAA Championships. That's next right here on Sports Page.
My parents met because they both worked on the railroad. There was actually no question. I was going to go to work on the railroad. I knew that from the very beginning when I was a little kid. My dad taught me to be kind and think about other people. And that is what I'm trying to instill in my family. My granddaughter is named June Elizabeth, but I call her Junebug. My hope is to teach her about kindness and about the love of animals and nature. I want Junebug to have the same opportunities I had by watching PBS. It has helped me understand so many things in our world. My husband and I feel so strongly about our PBS station that we've included them in our estate plan. PBS is part of our values, things that we cherish, and we want to pass it on to the next generation.
KMOS-TV salutes the many businesses and corporations that have supported this public television station. Whether it's through program underwriting, volunteer commitment, in-kind donations, program development funding, or event sponsorship, Central Missouri residents are the beneficiaries of their contributions. Kids programming, news programming, fine arts presentations, cooking shows, musical entertainment, educational programming. All enhanced and improved because of our business and corporate partners. See how your business can become involved in the support of public television and KMOS-TV. Contact me today at 573-814-9208 or Beasley at KMOS.org. Also, you can find us and like us on Facebook.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia.
As a team, it's really been a roller coaster. Like everyone else has said, we've started off really strong, and it was a really great first semester. And second semester has been a little rough for us, but I think we've worked it out pretty good here at the end of the season, and we got us this far. So I think we can make it to #1 here in the championship. So the first day of competition, we do single games. We've team games. We each bowl one game, and we play everyone in the championship, and then that'll bring us to the second day where it seeds us based on our win-loss record. And then we do basic games. It's double elimination. You lose 2 and you're out, and Saturday is the championship. I think we are pretty unique. All of us have different games, but we all mesh together. We all make great shots, and I think that really makes it different from everyone else.
I think the chemistry obviously gets better as the season goes, but since there are 3 seniors, we pretty much already had chemistry with the older girls already. Most of us have already been through this 1 year. There's only a couple new players who got into the mix, and it was really easy just to everyone get meshed well together. I think something that we have to really just
do better than we have in the past is go with our guts. I mean, we see moves, we just kind of wait, and that's how we kind of get behind. I mean, we need to be on top of our moves.
We got mostly the same girls, but there's a few couple people that came in. They stepped up right away, and we just had a great season from the start. We've all connected really well starting on the lanes, and it's been showing us how we've been doing all year. We just need to have communication and trust our instincts. That's the main thing. We all know how to bowl. That's why we're here. That's why we're going to the championship. Being able to do that is going to bring us far. We can't worry about any other team, what they're going to do, because the championship is a different tournament. You basically have to go in there with knowing what your team is going to do and trust yourselves, and don't worry about what other team is going to do, so worry about yourself.
I think this team is quite a bit more experienced whenever it comes to some of the league level play and the different factors that it takes for them to be able to compete at a national championship setting. We're blessed with very talented players. We're blessed with a very deep squad, but this team seems to kind of set itself apart from some of those that we've had in the past, where they don't ever give up. They just continue to fight and work through the different scenarios. There's some huge momentum factors that'll play into the championship, and this team is very well prepared to handle it. It's been a lot of fun to watch not only the seniors step forward and take the lead with the different elements of teaching their younger teammates, but also the growth of the younger players. At the beginning of the year, we meshed and worked together real well. We're able to get several events under our belt where we had a lot of high-level success. Once we've achieved that #1 ranking during the regular season, we continue to play well at times, but you also saw a little bit of nervousness, maybe, a little bit of trying to make sure that they weren't making errors, and that's not us. We need to be able to play hard and aggressive the entire time, and that's the strength of our squad. So I think they've finally made it back around to that here at the end of the year, and I'm really excited to see how things go for us. I think the biggest thing, a reminder to the players that there's going to be lots of new things that they will not have seen during the regular season. And what I mean by that is not necessarily the competition, but some of those side elements, some of the lights and the different environments they're going to be in. I think once it gets down to the competition part, that part they'll recognize quite easy, and that part should be something that they'll roll through and do well in. The other side is expecting difficulty, expecting some adversity to come their way. If they want to be super comfortable, this is probably not the time that's going to happen. We're going to try to make it happen, but this is probably not going to be a scenario where discomfort and repetition is going to be normal. So I think they'll be able to handle that very well. I just think we're really excited and really humbled that we were able to have this #1 seed. We're looking forward to going out and playing and showing not only the school but the country what Central Missouri can do.
Once again, congratulations to the Jennies bowling team on the program's 10th straight selection to the NCAA championships and the program's first ever #1 seed. They'll take to Canton, Michigan, April 11th through the 13th. Next week, right here on Sportspage, we'll preview the NCAA bowling championships with head coach Ron Holmes. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as Sportspage rolls on after this timeout.
What if television took risks? What if it gave pioneers the chance to create something completely new and helped everyone see the world in a whole new way? For over 40 years, PBS stations have pushed the boundaries of media by asking questions no one else has. What if media could improve the way our children live? What if great art played freely into every living room? It's the questions we ask that help open new worlds and new possibilities. Every American. Support your PBS station, pioneers who never stop asking, what if? says we can't know. But Civil War soldiers thought. For what it's like to change the rules of the game. Ken Burke pioneered a new way to tell American story. And only PBS gives filmmakers like him a place to push the boundaries of what TV can do. Please give to this PBS station so that every American can experience stories like these, now and for generations to come.
Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
For one final time this week, welcome back to Sportspage. Before we put the finishing touches on our first spring sports edition of the show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the Mules and Jennies. And we'll hope for some good weather for our teams, and the Jennies softball team will be heading south for the weekend. They'll be in Oklahoma for 4 MIAA games. Friday, the Gens take on Northeastern State in Tahlequah. Saturday, the Gens will take on 9th-ranked Central Oklahoma in Edmond. Next Tuesday, the Jennies will host Emporia State in a 4 p.m. conference twin bill at Jenny Field at South Rec. The 5th-ranked Mules baseball team will be at Central Oklahoma for a 3-game series Friday and Saturday. It's a conference MIAA 3-game series. Next Wednesday, the Mules will be in St. Charles to take on Lindenwood. That's a 1 o'clock conference doubleheader. Our KMOS TV crew will be there to have highlights for you as we hope to visit with head coach Tommy Myers next week on Sportspage. The Jennies bowling team has earned the #1 seed at the NCAA Women's Bowling Championships, April 11th through the 13th at Super Bowl Lanes in Canton, Michigan, near Detroit. It's the 10th straight NCAA championship appearance for Jennies bowling. We'll preview the national championships next week with Coach Ron Holmes right here on Sportspage. The UCM track and field team will send student athletes to 3 different events to open their outdoor season. Multi-event student athletes are in San Marcos, Texas for the Texas State Invitational. Distance runners will take part in the Washington University Invite on Friday in St. Louis. And the majority of the team will participate in the Pitt State Open Saturday in Pittsburgh, Kansas. The MIAA leading Mules golf team will head for warmer weather next week. They are at the Barry Buccaneer Invitational in Miami, Florida. And with that, we conclude this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we invite you to tune in again next week to learn more on the UCM Mules and Jennies. Until then, for our entire crew, this is Sean Jones saying thanks for watching the Central Missouri Sports Page right here on KMOS TV, Missouri PBS. Support for Sportspage is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. And by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sportspage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.